Funny, isn't it? The world keeps spinning, clocks tick, and people act like nothing happened, like the ones who shattered you just faded into the void, like your pain didn't carve a chasm where your heart once stood. Ever sat in a pitch-black room, feeling like the darkness is the only thing that truly gets you? No fake grins, no hollow promises, just raw, unyielding silence. That's what being broken once does to you. It leaves a scar, not a wound. Wounds close up, kid. Scars, they whisper forever. Tonight, I'm here to tell you something simple. They broke you once, never again. People have this nasty habit of underestimating silence. They think if you're not screaming, not fighting back, not bleeding out loud, you're weak. But silence is deadly. It's where monsters are forged, sharpened, and unleashed. That's where you are now, isn't it? In that quiet corner of the world where no one sees the fire you're holding inside. They call it calm. I call it survival. Because when the storm tore you apart, they all watched, didn't they? Some even smirked. And you still believed in them. You clung to hope. Naive, but beautiful. I admire that. It takes courage to care after they crush you. But here's the truth, my friend. Caring doesn't keep you breathing. Coldness does. No, they didn't just hurt you. They dissected your trust with a sneer. They picked apart your kindness, treating it like weakness. And you stood there, trembling but upright, crying but silent. You thought they'd return to fix the wreckage, but nobody comes back to clean up the chaos they left in your soul. They move on, carefree, like you were just a fleeting chapter in their game. And you carry the debris, the echoes, the memories you can't erase. Ever tried to sleep with a memory screaming like a siren in your mind? It's a nightmare that never fades. But here's the twist. You survive. Most people break once and that's it. Game over. They shatter and stay shattered. Not you. You're still here, breathing, maybe bleeding, but standing tall. That makes you terrifying. You're no longer the person they hurt. You're the one who learned from pain. And pain, it's a brutal teacher. It doesn't lie. It doesn't pretend. It shows you the truth you refuse to see. You trusted the wrong people. You handed out chances like candy, and they chewed through your loyalty like it was nothing. But here's the real truth. It's not your fault you cared. It's their curse that they didn't. You know what's poetic? They thought breaking you would silence you, but it made you wiser, tougher, fiercer. They thought you'd chase them, beg, stay small. But now, you are the storm. You're not the same soft soul waiting for apologies that never came. You're the silence that terrifies them. You're proof that someone can burn and rise from their ashes without begging for help. Don't you dare forget who you've become. Don't let them convince you your kindness was foolish. No, it was proof that even angels can walk through hell and keep their wings. They broke you once, so what? Everyone breaks, but you rebuilt with stone, with fire in your chest, with steel in your gaze. You don't need revenge. You are the revenge, because nothing stings them more than watching you walk past like they never mattered. That's power, true power. Not noise, not shouting, just detachment. When they no longer sway your mood, your peace, your silence, they lose, and deep down, they know it. Keep walking, kid. Keep that silence sharp. They watch from a distance now, wondering how you're still standing after they buried you in betrayal. They don't get it. Pain builds. You didn't heal. You transformed. That's why you're unbreakable now. They broke you once. Never again. I remember that night like it was yesterday. The sky felt wrong. Ever look up and feel like even the stars have turned their backs on you? Like everything constant just vanishes. I sat there, not speaking, not thinking, just feeling. And you know what? I felt nothing. Not the chill on my skin, not the ache in my chest, not the weight of everything I sacrificed for people who disappeared when I fell. They love you when you're soaring, kid. But when you crash, when your hands shake, and your heart begs for one reason to keep going, the crowd goes silent. That's when the masks drop. That's when you see what's real and who isn't. Let me tell you something raw, something dark. You were broken once. I saw it. It wasn't some loud, dramatic collapse with Bane-like chaos. It was quiet, the kind of breaking where you smile in public, laugh at the right moments, but inside, you're gone. They shattered you in silence, and the worst part, you let them. You gave them love, loyalty, honesty, all those heavy things, and they treated them like trash. You handed them gold, and they sold it for scraps. Now you're here, angry, lost, telling yourself you're fine. But you're not, and that's okay, because broken isn't the end, it's the beginning. You think I became this way because life handed me roses and promises? No, I got fire and silence. I learned to embrace the sound of doors slamming and people vanishing. I stopped waiting for apologies. I stopped justifying my worth. I started observing, learning, because when they break you once, they expect you to stay on your knees, begging for their presence like a starving dog. But answer me this, why beg someone to stay when they had no shame leaving? Why keep giving when they only take? Real strength isn't smiling through pain. It's not pretending everything's okay. It's choosing not to go back. They'll return eventually, they always do. When you start moving in silence, building in the shadows, when your comeback isn't loud but lethal, they'll hear about you. Whispers in the streets, murmurs in the halls. Remember them? Look at them now, and they'll watch from afar, jealous, regretful. Don't you dare turn back. You owe them nothing, not even a glance. They broke you once, never again. That's your rule now. That's your law. Let's break it down logically. Pain is a currency, and you gave yours away for free. Every tear, every sleepless night, every ignored message, that's value, kid, and they squandered it. So now you charge for it, you guard it. Your energy is priceless, your time selective, your love earned, not tossed out like confetti. People treat you how you let them. You taught them to walk over you when you stayed silent after disrespect. You showed them you'd forgive anything, that you'd always be there, so they stopped trying. You became a resource, a pit stop, a therapist, a punching bag, but no more. That chapter's done. Burn it. Write the new one with fire and silence. Be the one who says less and builds more. They call you cold? So what? They say you've changed? Good. They miss the old you? Of course they do. That version was easy to use. That old you bled for people who wouldn't lift a finger if you were drowning. That version died in silence. Now, this version doesn't beg, doesn't explain, doesn't need validation. You've become the storm. I know it hurts. Some nights the silence screams so loud it feels like it's tearing you apart. You replay every word, every lie, every broken promise. You want closure, but closure's a myth. You close the door yourself. You bury what hurt you, not with hate, but with indifference. They don't deserve your thoughts. They don't get to know the damage they caused. That's your power now. They don't know you anymore. You outgrew them. You evolved in the fire they left you to burn in. You forge armor from ashes. Here's the irony. People fear what they can't predict. You were predictable, always there, always caring, always forgiving. But now you're gone, and they hate that. They hate the silence, the unbothered version of you. The person who doesn't flinch, doesn't explain, doesn't care what they think. That version is a ghost in their guilt. They remember you, and it stings. Let it. They earned that pain. So keep moving, growing quietly, ruthlessly, every step calculated, every word measured. You don't react, you observe, and when the time comes, you rise, not to show off, but to remind them they broke you once, never again. I watched you fall, not from the top, but from somewhere deeper, darker. You didn't scream, you didn't beg, you didn't even flinch, just silence, like your soul had already mourned before your body hit the ground. Funny how the world works, isn't it? They pat your back while twisting the knife deeper. They call it love, but it feels like poison. They broke you once, but never again. Not if you stop handing out pieces of yourself to people who only want to exploit your weakness. Pain doesn't knock politely. It kicks the door down and claims a seat at your table like it owns you. And you kept feeding it, dressing it up as loyalty, kindness, understanding. But listen closely. Those things mean nothing to people who've already decided to use you. You gave them warmth and they turned it into firewood to keep themselves warm while you froze. You offered second chances and they turned them into weapons. You were too soft in a world that thrives on sharpness and silence. Your biggest mistake? Not loving, not trusting. No, it was believing your loyalty would make them see your worth. That if you bled enough, they'd stop cutting. What a lie. You weren't the problem, their emptiness was. Their hunger for validation, their need to break someone to feel strong. You walked in with an open heart, no armor, and they took advantage. But that's over. The version of you that said, "It's okay," while bleeding, is gone. And thank God. They didn't break you because you were weak. They broke you because you were too strong, too bright, too pure for their dirty hands. They needed to drag you down to their level, to feel less alone in their darkness. You were a mirror to their guilt, and you mistook it for love. But real love doesn't drain, it builds. Real respect doesn't need constant reminders. If you have to beg for it, you're in the wrong place. Notice how quiet it got when you stepped back. How the noise, the demands, the drama vanished the moment you withdrew. That's not chance, that's exposure. You were the light. When it left, they sat in the dark, wondering why nothing feels right anymore. You were the heart, the one carrying them while they cut you down. Now, you're done. And that silence, it's deafening for them now, isn't it? Don't go back. Don't try to fix what you didn't break. Don't play savior to people who only loved you when it suited them. This selfish, two-faced world only respects those who stop explaining and start disappearing quietly. It fears those who rise from ashes without a word, because they won't burn again. You hear that ticking? That's not a bomb. That's your time. Your silence, your victory. It doesn't need to explode. It just needs to keep moving, keep building, keep proving. You owe them nothing, not even a goodbye. You're not broken anymore. You're rebuilt. Rebuilt people don't shake, don't beg, don't ask. They walk, quiet, focused, untouchable. That's what kills them more than anything. They can't reach you anymore. They can't affect what no longer reacts. So stay cold, stay distant, stay powerful. Let them feel the weight of your absence. Let them choke on the silence they forced you into. The new you doesn't bleed for the unworthy. You don't kneel. You watch. You calculate. And when the time comes, you don't speak. You win. They'll see it, not through words or tears, but through the empire you build in the dark, brick by brick, without a single apology. I remember the silence, not the peaceful kind, but the one that slithers into your bones and coils around your soul like a serpent. The silence that follows betrayal after the last door slams, after the last "I'm here for you" fades into echoes, funny isn't it? You give everything, and they take it like it was owed. You open your chest, hand over your beating heart, and they crush it like a cheap trinket. And you're left standing, bleeding, waiting for what? An apology? A miracle? Let me shatter that illusion. Miracles don't come for people like us. The truth? They broke you once. Never again. Pain leaves marks. Not the visible kind, but the deep, invisible scars that change how you move, how you laugh, how you see people. They don't fade. They take root. Every time you trusted the wrong person, forgave what should have been condemned, stayed when you should have walked, those scars grew. You became a gallery of your own kindness, filled with relics of people who never deserved your heart. They studied you, not to love you, but to find your cracks. And when they found them, they dug deeper. Here's what they don't tell you in stories. Not everyone who touches your wounds wants to heal them. Some just want to see if you'll bleed again. Pathetic, but true. That's the world we live in. A place where your softness is mistaken for weakness, your loyalty a currency for cowards, your silence seen as surrender. But not anymore. You don't crawl back to the fire that burned you. You become the fire. You become the lesson they never expected to learn. When a broken person stops asking for help, they become dangerous, not out of revenge, but out of independence. They walk differently, talk sparingly, eyes like steel, heart like stone. Not from hate, but from survival. Love without boundaries is suicide. Trust without caution is a gun to your own chest. You've been there. I see it in your eyes, the way they flicker when someone says, forever. That word's a joke now, isn't it? People throw it around like it means something, but you know it's just a delay before betrayal. They thought you'd never leave. They fed off your loyalty, drank from your soul like it was an endless well. And when you started to dry up, when your light dimmed, they didn't check on you. They walked away. No guilt, no shame, just footprints in the wreckage. But you stood there, ashes in your hands, a smile on your face, pretending the fire didn't touch you. I saw you, I see you, and I know what you've become. You're the one they fear now, not because you're cruel, but because you don't need their approval. That's the shift. That's the power. When someone who is desperate to be understood finally understands themselves, they become unstoppable. They enter rooms without begging to be seen. Their silence speaks. Their absence teaches. They don't chase. They vanish. And when they're noticed missing, it's too late. This isn't bitterness. It's clarity. It's rebirth. You didn't die. You transformed. They didn't destroy you. They built the force they now whisper about in regret. You owe them nothing, not even your story. Those who made you doubt your worth don't get a front row seat to your rise. Let them choke on their regret in the cheap seats. So burn the old script, tear down the version of you that bent over backward for people who never stood beside you. Rewrite it, not for revenge, but for evolution. Rise for the kid in you who cried alone, for the you who waited for texts that never came, for the person who kept forgiving when they should have let go. They broke you once, never again. I remember the night they broke you. You sat there, quiet, shattered, barely blinking, like the weight of the world decided to rest on your chest and mock you. And they laughed, didn't they? Like you were the punchline to a Bane-level scheme they didn't even craft. That laughter cuts deeper than any blade, echoing in your skull long after the room goes quiet. But you didn't scream, you didn't beg, you took it all in silence. And that silence, it was louder than any words you could have spoken. Most people crumble under betrayal. They melt, they collapse. But you You cracked, but you didn't shatter. You bled quietly. That kind of pain, the silent kind, builds something darker, sharper. When someone breaks you the first time, it's not just pain. It's an education, a brutal one. You learn faces, tones, the manipulation in a smile, the lies in an embrace. Pain's the finest teacher this cruel world offers. They thought you'd stay broken. That's the irony. They thought the you who loved them, trusted them, gave without expecting was permanent, like you'd never grow claws. But look at you now, breathing, watching, planning, not for vengeance. That's too easy. You're destroying the version of yourself that let them break you. That's the real power, not shouting, not violence, but the coldness you build after the fall, walking past them like their betrayal was a gift, like their absence cleared the air. Silence is lethal. When they realize you're not reacting anymore, they panic. They lost the only one who truly cared. They broke you once, never again.